Hello, welcome to the Chessboxing podcast. This week we've got the first part of a two-part interview with international master and soon-to-be chess boxer Lawrence Trent. Enjoy.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. How's the training going?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of not only training but trying to make weight for the fight, which is the trickiest part, actually, I think, more than the actual training. So when I got told about the fight, I weighed about 95. I was overweight. And now, yesterday, I weighed 86.7 kilos. So I've lost nearly 10 kilograms, which is not bad for an old man. I've got a session immediately after this, actually. And then I'm commentating chess, Fisher Random Chess, this afternoon for chess.com. So the days are long and busy, but you know, I'm loving it, and yeah.
And you've got to fit in your training and all that sort of stuff on top of everything else you're doing. It's quite tough, isn't it?
It's really hard because I've still got to make a living, still got students, still got commentary, still got all of that. But fine, you know, still got to organize the training with the coach, or sometimes you know, even if he's not available, I'll train. Either just YouTube is your best friend in terms of you know, if you want strength and conditioning exercises, there's plenty of good channels out there, plenty of good, you know, this morning I was watching a Javonta Davis strength and conditioning. I've been looking at some of the Dagestani boys, what they're doing for strength and conditioning as well. So, you know, even if I'm alone, I can do I can work out, get my weight down still, and you know, try not to have to cut before the fight, because that's my biggest
fear. What weight are you aiming for?
I have to weigh in maximum 85 kilos.
Right, so that's a lot to lose, isn't it? If you're...
You mean since I learned about the fight?
Yeah.
Oh yes, 10 kilos. I mean, it's a loads.
Yes, right.
I mean, it's like an insane amount of weight to lose.
Are you feeling better for it?
Yeah, no, amazing. I mean, you know, I was overweight as it was. I wasn't particularly happy. It wasn't that I was massively unfit. You know, like you can be overweight but still be relatively, like I was still relatively fit in inverted commas. But I also felt like I was a bit sluggish. Like, you know, when you get your weight down, it does improve your mobility. You do have a bit more spring, a bit more explosivity. So, and actually, to be honest, I'm only 5'11", so what I was weighing was too much anyway, and around 80, you know, anywhere between 80 and 85 is kind of an optimal weight for my height anyway. So pretty happy that I've managed to get this close. I just hope, as I say, I mean, cutting is not something I want to do a week before the fight where I dehydrate myself and just go.
No, it's not healthy. I don't know. I think we might be similar age, but I found it really hard after lockdown to get back to any kind of level of fitness. And I guess it's cardio, it's your heart, isn't it, and lungs.
Yeah.
But also you notice, I play football.
Yes.
I notice carrying an extra like 5 or 6, 7 kilos, it makes a massive difference to like how you can get around. Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Just even, and in boxing as well, just, you know, being able to you know, to do some some footwork and shifting, and, you know, being able to you know, just work different positions and different angles. It just makes a hell of a distance. And of course my cardio has improved as well. I've still got another solid 4 or 5 weeks of training, so which is about the length of what a normal camp would be, I guess, for a fight, for a professional fight. So, you know, I'm training pretty much 6 days a week, 1 day rest. I've been carrying some small injuries recently. My knees have always been bad, my left knee especially. I did my ACL a few years ago. I actually picked up a bicep injury as well. So I've been very calculated in terms of what I'm doing. I'm not trying to you know, to hurt myself even more before this fight.
You doing much road work? You doing much running? Are you doing much road work, running?
I was doing a lot of running, and I basically stopped doing that because my knee is just it's just suffering too much.
Yeah, I think if your knees are going, that's not the thing to do, isn't it? Maybe
No.
swimming if you can, but that's
exactly what I'm doing.
But
Swimming, I'm doing swimming, and I'm doing a load of spinning as well. I find spinning, cycling helps because, you know, it's high intensity, 60 minutes. Cycling in general helps, you know, your knees. It doesn't hurt your knees. So all of the jogging and road work has just had to stop. Even though I really enjoy it, actually, I just can't. My knee is just
you can't
feeling it. Yeah, just feeling it. Yeah.
It's really nice to have a chat with you outside of an event, because I've only met you once, which was like in the thick of a full-on event where I'm probably the worst person that I can be, because I'm just so stressed and just have
you're good.
time
You're
for
good.
anybody.
You're good.
But yeah, it was really good of you to come on and do some commentary. You're well qualified in that you know how to deliver a chess pun, or certainly some sort of chess pun innuendo, which is essentially all you need to be a commentator on one of our shows.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent. No, I love commentating chess boxing. Actually, my last chess boxing gig that I commentated, unfortunately, was in Amsterdam with my dear friend Ipe, who passed away. As everybody knows, the creator pretty much of this sport. And that was the last time I commentated on chess boxing. And then he very sadly passed a couple of years ago now. But I'll do it again one day for sure. But being in the ring, I have to say, it was never on the agenda. Even though I enjoy boxing, I enjoy training. I love chess, obviously.
But you've got a history. I mean, you have done some boxing combat sports, haven't you, in your past? Really? Okay.
Nothing.
I mean, I thought that when I saw your video of you hitting that bag, because it's very easy to hit a bag wrong, and you know your technique is actually, I mean, based on a 30-second video.
Yes.
But I was genuinely quite impressed by your technique, particularly the cross. Like, it's hard to get the cross right with rotating your shoulders and you're on the ball of your foot. So I don't know, you know, what preparations your opponent has, but from what I've seen, you're certainly on the right track. I mean, it's a good start.
Well, so that's interesting. So 2 points there. So we'll talk about my opponent in a short moment. But in terms of what I've been doing boxing on and off for quite a while now, and pretty much started just before lockdown. Actually, even in 2019, really, I started, but it was very on and off. I met Ipe in 2018, 2019, started going to the chess boxing gym here in Berlin. And I've always loved boxing as a sport. I remember, you know, I was growing up with the Holyfield fights and Lennox Lewis, and I used to love watching it. Listening to it on the radio, because a lot of the time we didn't have pay-per-view, we couldn't get pay-per-view or anything like that. So been a massive boxing fan for years, started learning here and put a massive emphasis on, like I do with my chess as I teach my students, is learning the fundamentals of boxing. I think a lot of people like to shortcut boxing, but it really does hurt you. Even now, I'm 1,000 miles off being a finished product, but I do work on fundamental technique, and obviously there are different schools of boxing as well. My coach here is a Cuban coach. He's a Cuban guy. Cuban boxers, similar to the Soviet school of boxing, very much on your balls of your feet a lot of the time, in and out, combination, enter, out, a lot of pivoting, a lot of footwork being really the fundamental of it all. I get told off still all the time if my footwork is out of place. Making sure you leverage, you know, your punches, hips, making sure you're throwing from the hips, making sure, you know, you're measuring distance well, you know, guarding yourself well, all of it, you know, and I would prefer to really master those fundamentals than try and be a flashy boxer, because I'm not experienced enough, I'm not good enough, and I'll just get punished. So, you know, when it comes to training, tons and tons and tons of training is footwork drills, head movement drills, and so on and so forth. I am sparring and I am, getting some experience actually getting beaten up, and which is nice. But the actual fundamentals of boxing, and of course there are different schools of boxing. It's very interesting because I'm in Berlin at the moment, so I've got a Cuban coach who teaches me X-Way. German school of boxing, very, very different. In general, European school of boxing, very different. And the Mexican school is different to that, and there's all these different thoughts. But if you look at Cuban amateurs and their success over the years, I mean, it does say a lot about the pedigree of Cuban boxers. And my coach here is fantastic. His name's Eduardo, he's a very good friend of mine as well. So I'm just working that. I think going into this fight, myself along with Aman Hambleton. We can do a bit more about him in a moment. We both haven't had a fight before, as far as I understand. So this is going to be our first fight. And Aman hadn't trained boxing before or any other martial art, from what I can understand. He's kind of new. He is 10 years younger than me. Theoretically, he should be fitter than me and have more beans than me. But I don't know, is the honest answer. I don't know how much he's working on it. I don't know how much he's taking it seriously. I'm taking it dead seriously. Like, I've completely changed my life to be able to.
I mean, it's the only way to do it, mate. You've got to commit or not. Like, there's no ways there.
Full commitment. Not only do I have the weight thing that I've had to get down, right? It's just making sure that I know that I'm training 6 days out of 7 a week. Yeah, I'm going to have one rest day to recoup. There was a video launched about a week ago by the Chess Bras, he's part of this big streaming duo called the Chess Bras. I don't know if you know them.
No, I know of them, yeah.
You know of them?
Yeah.
They released a video, and finally there was some footage, because for weeks I've been prodding Aman, come on, mate, we're the main event of this fight. Let's get some movement. Let's get this going. Let's see some action from your side. The people want to see. So they filmed him down the gym. And I'm going to tweet this out today anyway, because this podcast probably won't be released today. But I think
it won't be today. It might be in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. So Aman was there on the heavy bag, and I don't know exactly when this was filmed. I guess it was quite recently, though. So there are two options. Either one, he's genuinely hitting the bag like that, or two, he's putting on a show to lure me in to a false sense of security, to think that I'm just.
Are you saying that the technique he was showing wasn't, to a standard?
Well, I mean, you can decide. You can decide for yourself, but
okay.
Let's put it this way. Go to this video and go to
2 minutes 45.
2 minutes 35.
Okay, I'm watching it now. There's a guy with a headband, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where'd you start, really?
Well, I think he's faking it, basically. Although it's difficult to fake.
It's funny, we had a similar situation. I don't know if you know who Jonathan Arnott is.
I do know him, yeah.
Yeah, so at the time he was a sitting MEP in the European Parliament.
Yeah.
And he was training away, and he got some press. He went on the BBC. I'll just stop that. He went on the BBC politics channel and did a little bit of bag work.
Yeah.
And it's like rabbit punching.
I remember seeing it.
And we were like, oh my God, this is yeah. Tim was like, this is not going to work. And we contacted him, said, look, we don't know if you're ready or not. He's like, no, I'm ready. I've got like this trainer and blah, blah, blah. And then he got in the ring and it was just embarrassing. Like, it was just there was nothing there at all. But mind you, Jonathan Arnott was much worse than that. But it looks like he's literally just stepped into the gym and just started punching a bag. Like, he's got nothing really.
I mean, literally. So I don't think that's actually how he boxes. So I think it's he knows I'm watching, and I think he's setting me up because
Well, I think you've got to have that attitude, haven't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I just don't believe that. I mean, we're a few weeks out. Sure, he can improve. So I'm going to go in there as if I was facing a proper boxer. So that's it. And if he's, I mean,
and you don't know when that video was taken. That could have been taken literally the first time he stepped in the gym. Like,
well, I mean, we know that we got the fight, so it can only be the earliest can be August. But let's assume it's in the last month. That's a reasonable assumption. Also, so Aryan was out there. So I beg your pardon. So I know for a fact when Aryan went out there. So Aryan was on the other back. So it is actually quite recent.
Okay.
But you know,
it's hard to say. It happens with us as well, because especially people fighting coming from abroad, you've only really got video evidence to rely on.
Yeah.
And you never really know if they're actually they're putting it in or not. It's impossible to tell, really.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think that.
I mean, there's no way he's going to be like that stepping into the ring. He'll be better. No. It's just how much better.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll see. So,
it's intriguing. It's all part. I mean, this is all part of the intrigue that will get people interested in what you're doing. I think.
Actually, what was he doing? What was he doing? I just want to make sure that I've got his power. Yeah, I mean, I think he's right-handed. Pretty sure he's right-handed, so he's orthodox. I don't know. Maybe he's
standing right-handed, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he'll clip me. Maybe he'll knock me out in 2 seconds. Who knows?
Don't let it get you. Don't let that creep into your thinking. You've got to assume that he's going to be an animal in there.
No. I'm assuming I'm training my arse off to be able to go in there with an animal.
Yeah.
So that's it.
We'll put a link to the video on the show.
We'll put a link to it, and you guys can decide. I don't think he punches like that. I think he's putting it on. I think this is just fake news, and so I'm going in there prepared as if I was fighting somebody who is training properly with a real trainer with real technique, because it's just not possible that is how he throws. If that is how he throws, if that is him as a I mean, he's still got 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
If that's how he ends up being in the ring, he's going to get knocked out very quickly. But I just don't believe that is the finished product. So I'm still going to start. Still going to.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change what you have to do, does it?
No, I mean, tomorrow I've got a sparring session with a guy who's had about 10 fights. He beats me up quite consistently, but every single session I'm getting better. Every single sparring session I'm getting better. Every single session I'm managing to land, avoid, improving my movement. So that's all I can do. I'm trying not to get knocked out in sparring, although that has nearly happened, because I don't want to get concussed and fucking whatever, before this fight.
No, you've got a lot. I mean, I spent a lot of time in our gym a couple of weeks before an event shouting at people who are going to be fighting in the event to tone down the power to 50%. Like you've got to be sensible about it. And obviously you need, it's a balance between having that experience of a tough spar, which is essentially as close as you're going to get to a real fight.
Right.
And not going in there and coming out, with concussion or some sort of injury, because obviously that would mean that you couldn't fight. So it's a balance, isn't it?
It is, and it's quite hard to find that balance. This is my nightmare. If suddenly, I spar in the next few weeks and I get knocked out or something happens, right? That's exactly what I don't want to happen. I'd rather it not happen, actually, and I'd rather, It's risky. It's risky, but you have to do it because you have to get ring experience. It's all well and good training on the pads and on the heavy bag, but it's just not the same. You've got to get in there with somebody.
Sorry,
go on.
Lawrence.
Go on.
No, I was just going to pick up on a couple of things you mentioned, because the chess bras, we owe them really, because they were very helpful when we were setting up our Twitch channel.
Really?
They gave us quite a lot of advice on how to do it and how to manage it several years ago now. And also big shout out to Joseph and everyone in Berlin. I was lucky enough to meet Joseph a couple of times now. I met him in Helsinki last year at one of the events.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciate what they're doing. And one of their fighters, Juliana, is actually fighting on our show.
Oh, right. Okay.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in fact, we're really excited. We've got a female bout, which is I've been trying to get a female bout for the last 6-7 years. It's so difficult. In fact, we did have one last year, and then the fighter couldn't get on the plane because of a foul up with her COVID vaccination.
Right.
It was just absolutely awful.
Right.
But also, I don't know if you know, but our referee Ronaldo Dominguez.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so he's a ex-Cuban junior champion.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so when you were talking about the Cuban style, and how mobile it is, and
yes,
it's all about footwork, anticipation, movement, and when you're kind of training with him, it's like trying to hit smoke. You move and he's just not there. He's gone somewhere else.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. They just don't stand square. They don't stand flat-footed. They're always on the balls of their feet. Of course, that consumes a lot of energy. So you have to be fit. You have to be very, very fit. My fight is going to be 2-minute rounds. So compared to the standard boxing fight of 3, it means that, I am preparing to be very, very active for the whole 2 minutes. There's absolutely no reason why. I'm sparring 3-minute rounds, for example.
Yeah.
So to be able to get through 2 minutes a lot easier. Yeah, so that's it at the moment.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the event? So it's Mogul Chess Boxing.
Yeah.
So it's being hosted by a guy called Ludwig, who's a big YouTuber. Who I think he came across from Twitch. Is that right?
He did. He was in Twitch. I don't know what happened. Either he some agreement with YouTube. I don't know whether YouTube got him, whether he left Twitch for other reasons, because Twitch is kind of changing as a platform. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. What I do know is he is easily one of the biggest streamers in the world, like really top tier. He's got a company called Mogul Moves. They do a bunch of different events. He's always loved chess. He did some chess. He played a competition called PogChamps on chess.com, which was a special event made just for popular streamers from the gaming world, but from outside of chess. He got very friendly with chess.com. He got very friendly with the likes of Magnus, for example. Magnus is a very good friend of his. And he also likes boxing. And as you know, there's been a massive boom when it comes to non-professional boxers boxing recently, the YouTube stars, KSIs and Logan Pauls and whatnot. And this is now extended slightly further out to the gaming influencer world as well. The fight is taking place in the Garland Center in LA, 52,000 people. I expect
you're going to be fighting in front of 52,000 people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Quite mad.
That's awesome.
Well, actually, as it turns out, that's how much the stadium can host. Whether we'll get that filled out, I don't know. The point is that a lot of the people fighting on this card are megastars in the US, like super megastars. People like Myth, who, if you go to his,
so they've got a huge following, which is
massive.
able to drive those kind of figures, isn't it? I guess.
Well, Myth has got 4.56 million subscribers on YouTube.
I have to tell you, Lawrence, our small little channel and our website has just exploded over the over the last 2 weeks. It's just gone insane. Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because people have been Googling chess boxing off the back of all of the promotion that you guys and Ludwig are doing.
Wow.
Okay. It's been incredible, really. I think we've easily more than doubled our subscriber base on YouTube, for example. So,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. That's absolutely unbelievable. I'm really happy for you guys. I would love to get some love for the gym here. I will do some promotional work because they've been very, very kind to me. I've been a member of the gym here now for a long time. But I just think as a sport, and we can talk about the future as well of the sport. The event has got the potential to be humongous. You look at the card and you look at the guys fighting and you look at the subscriberships of each of the big players. We're talking a combined subscription level well over 10 million of all fighters combined.
So however many you have in the stadium, you're going to have many times more than that online, aren't you?
You only need to convert a very small number. And to be honest, pretty much all the subs of all of these guys are going to want to watch this fight. And it's going to be broadcast across goodness knows how many different channels, YouTube, maybe Twitch, and elsewhere. So I don't know. Like it's still we're about 6 weeks out. There are still some details that are unclear to me about all of that stuff. But the potential is there. That's the important point.
Do you know what time it's going to start? Because we're planning.
No idea.
So, okay, well, we have an event on the day before, or the night before.
I know you
also the same day as one of the quarterfinals of the World Cup as well, which is making me a little nervous, depending on how England get on. But anyway, that's one side. And so we're planning, all of our production team, all of our community is planning to watch it on the following day, on the Sunday, and have a few beers and cheer you on.
Would be awesome.
Yeah, so we're just trying to plan that. But obviously, if it's
I don't know the timings. Yeah. All I know is I'm the main event, so I'm going to be the last fight.
Yeah.
So depending on how long the other fights go on for.
Have you thought about how you're going to stay calm? I mean, that may sound like a ridiculous thing to say, but that is genuinely quite an important thing, especially if you're on last.
Not really. I mean, I'm hoping to go out there. I'm hoping to have somebody, at least one person out there with me. In fact, I will mention this now, but I'm going out to LA about 2 weks before the fight. So end of November. And I'm hoping to connect with Tony Jeffries, who's got the Box and Burn gym out in LA. Now, if you watch YouTube Boxing, he is up there with one of the most watched channels. I've actually spoken to him on the phone already. Whether it's Tony or whether it's one of his colleagues, I'm hoping to have them in the ring with me. I would love to have my trainer here come out with me. There are a few logistical issues, unfortunately, and that means he probably can't come, which is a real shame. But as long as I've got somebody or some friends there with me, I will need some people with me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna freak out, because it's already daunting enough thinking that the stadium is going to be full, let alone potentially literally millions of people watching.
So having done it myself, and also I'm responsible for our events, I'm responsible for fighters, and in particular fighters that are doing it for the first time. Like, being able to manage and stay calm and manage your nerves is actually something that's more important than you might think. And having someone there with you that you trust is not only is good for that, but also you need someone in your corner that you trust, because when it comes to it, and you're going hell for leather, if you do get concussed, I've been concussed before. You don't know that you're concussed. You don't know that you think you can fight on. Like when I lost by technical knockout, I was livid that they stopped the fight. I wanted to carry on, and it's only because I had a corner man, somebody I trusted, somebody who knew the sport, who was able to pull me out. And in hindsight, it was exactly the right thing to do. So you do, as a point of safety, you need somebody in your corner that knows boxing, knows you, that you trust. It's really important.
Yeah, totally agree. And I will make sure that happens one way or another, that somebody is there with me on the day.
And that's it for this week. We've got the second part of this interview with Lawrence coming up in about a week's time. If you want to buy tickets for the show, go to chessboxingnation.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/chessboxing, to make sure you don't miss the live stream. See you in a week.